here, and he's on scene with the latest.
It's very, very difficult to explain exactly what we're seeing here, so I'm going to just get out of the way. And you can take a look here. It's quite literally an inferno right now. We don't know how this fire started, but we know that it was originally a one-structure fire across the street. We got calls about that earlier whenever Matthew was sort of dwindling down. The winds were still very strong. We were getting calls about a structure fire. When we got here, that fire had almost completely burned out, but the embers from that structure were blowing across the street, and I was here whenever the second structure originally caught fire here, and you can see the result of that now. It's been a domino effect. It's been burning the buildings on both sides and on, and we're currently have 5 structures that are burning, including the original one. And the biggest problem right now is that because of Hurricane Matthew, the winds are keeping emergency teams from responding. Because of the hurricane, emergency teams, firefighters, law enforcement cannot respond or haven't been able to because of the harsh hurricane winds. And so right now, we're just sort of waiting and seeing. Right now, we know that South Carolina National Guard pulled up in a military vehicle. They brought with them a few North Myrtle Beach firefighters, and so far there are no fire trucks on scene, but what they've been trying to do is they've hooked up some hoses to fire hydrants, and they've been using those fire hydrants to wet the buildings on both sides of this inferno. So the buildings that have not caught fire on either side of this chaos, they've been trying to keep those buildings wet so that the fire cannot spread even further. That is the most that they are able to do at this time. Again, the South Carolina National Guard is on scene, and earlier, just a few minutes ago, they toted a hose all the way down the road to where the other side of this fire is, and they're planning on doing the same thing on that side, I would assume. After speaking with North Myrtle Beach a firefighter that was out here, he said they only have about 8 firefighters out here right now battling this, and it's really frustrating, he said, to not be able to get his fire trucks out here because of the hurricane. Now, right now, we're still getting some pretty harsh winds, but basically, they're still starting to dwindle down, but they are still very, very chaotic and very unpredictable. I mean, and you keep hearing explosions, cracks in the buildings. You keep seeing parts of the building fly off because of the wind. We're watching the farthest one away from us right now. Looks like an apartment building of some kind or a condominium building of some kind, and it is literally falling apart from inside. And we keep seeing walls fall down, stairs falling down. You can start to see the brick structure of the buildings show themselves. And there's really, there are a lot of spectators standing around right now, but there's no one knows what's going on. And the biggest worry that some have is whether or not there were anyone inside, or there were any people inside of these buildings. We don't know if anyone was in the original structure. We don't know if everyone made it out safely. We hope so. We hope that no one was injured. There have not been any injuries confirmed or reported at this time, but like I said, we won't know very much for a while because emergency teams cannot respond. And I'm letting my cameraman just kind of show you what's going on here, and it is really surreal. The fires continue to burn. The trees are catching on fire. You can only imagine that the dunes behind them are burning as well because of the wind. It is really a sight to see. And we're going to keep you up to date on all of that. We're going to have more coming up at 11. But for now, I'm going to tag out. This is Josh Robertson reporting for WMBF News.
All right, Josh, thank you. Unbelievable. Right now, wind gusts on the North Strand. And